Good evening, Gills fans. Welcome back to the next instalment of Gills in the Blood Chats 2. Very happy to announce this evening that I am joined by none other than Super Bob himself, Robert Taylor, scorer of 39 goals in 70 appearances. Really appreciate you coming on, mate. And the main subject is to really just want to talk about goals, and more goals. Really.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
No, appreciate it. Like I say, I appreciate you coming on and taking time out of your day to... we was meant to do it this morning, weren't we? But I think we was both home teaching the kids.
Yeah, home teaching and screaming kids don't mix, you know, trying to get and speak to you guys, it would be a nightmare. So I'm glad you're in bed.
No, appreciate your circumstances, not a problem at all. Right, let's talk Gills. Summer of 98, you arrived.
Yeah.
500,000, wasn't it, I think?
Yeah.
You arrived, I always forget, it was you that arrived just before Saabs, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah. But you took a little longer to get going, ironically.
Yeah, well, I turned up and done a pre-season, so that's a bit daunting for me for the price tag that he paid for me. And you know, Tony could have said, "You'll be okay. I'll get you fit." And I sort of like started working in the afternoons with Tony just to get myself ticking over and get me fit quicker. When you haven't done a pre-season, you know you haven't done one when you start playing games, and
of course, yeah,
it was like, it took me, I think, 6-7 games, I think, to get my fitness.
Yeah, which was obviously frustrating. I mean, it was frustrating for our fans. I remember at the time there was a few of our fan base started labelling you a waste of money after a dozen games, and you're thinking, Christ, give the fella a chance. You know what I mean? He's not had a pre-season. I suppose the only saving grace for you, I think, if that had been now, it'd have been 100 times worse because it'd have been on Twitter and Facebook and everywhere else, wouldn't it? Whereas at the time, I suppose you only got it in the ground and then whatever was put in a newspaper. Whereas now it's 24/7, I imagine, it for professional footballers. But
yeah, it's hard nowadays with the social media side of things, and it's quite hard for players to take the criticism from social media. That's why you find a lot of players getting in mental health issues and that kind of thing through social media. You know, it's hard not to read it, but obviously, you know, but at the end of the day, same as a newspaper, you can choose not to go on it or buy one at the time. You only buy a newspaper if you've done well. If you've done poor, you never buy one.
I was going to say, that's probably the other side of the story, isn't it? You're all willing to read it when you've scored a hat-trick and everyone's saying you were 10 out of 10. So I suppose you have to take the rough with the smooth, so to speak, as long as it's done in a constructive manner and people aren't crossing the line and getting personal and doing that type of silly thing. So,
yeah, that's right. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's a lot to take on board for players nowadays with the social media side of things, and you know, like you say, 24/7, it's there.
Yeah, they've got a lot more policies, I suppose, they have to read and things that they have to be aware of. Whereas you guys, I suppose, it was you went in, you trained, and then you worried about Tuesday or Wednesday night and Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock.
That's right. That's all we had to worry about. I mean, when I went to Man City, it was like that. You had to worry about that side of it, and you got taught that side of it as well. Had to speak to the press and when to speak to them, and that kind of stuff. So you're showing the way, really, how to conduct yourself.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about goals.
Okay.
First one came at home to Burnley.
Yeah.
I remember it correctly. It was pretty scruffy, but I imagine you probably didn't really care too much at the time, did you?
Is that one that got cleared off the line and was just given a goal? Is that the one?
I think so. I think you scuffed it in sort of left-footed, and I think the geezer was a couple of yards behind the line and tried to hack it out, but it was well over.
Yeah, it went one of the best
in front of the old Raynham end.
Yeah, it went one of the best goals to sort of like say I'm here. But it's you know, when it went over the line, it's a big relief. Yeah, I mean, it always is a striker. Once you get that first goal, your confidence just flows, and you know, you believe that you can score any goal. You know, but at the time when you go for a bad spell and you're not playing so well, or like I wasn't fit, and you've got and you get frustrated with your own performances.
Yeah, of course.
And you get to the stage where you try too hard, and things don't come off, and it's one of them things where excuse me, you have to, when you start getting your confidence, you can try anything, and that's the biggest thing, is confidence in football. But I had the lads there at Gillingham who was at Brentford with me, and they knew how I'd play, and knew as soon as I got fit I could do it.
Yeah, because there was about 4 or 5 if you weren't there that had been at Brentford. There was you, Saabs, Smudger, Ash,
and Statham was there as well, wasn't he?
Oh, of course, yeah. I was talking to, who was I talking to him about? Oh, Neil Smith. I was talking to him about Brian Statham the other day. I said all I recall about Brian during his time with us was that he seemed to get more red cards than he played games.
Yeah. He was like that at Brentford as well, Brian.
Yeah.
But he's good bunch of lads, and they sort of like, when they started leaving Brentford, it was like leaving the Brentford team short of the good players. All the best players left, and that's why after the playoff final, Dave Webb wouldn't speak to any player to sort a new deal out or anything like that. He just said, "We'll talk to you in the summer," but the players need to know now.
Of course, yeah, they want to sort out their careers, of course.
Yeah, and they were sort of like told they left. The players left, and we didn't bring any people in to make the team any better. So, I just thought myself, Gillingham will come in for me. Nothing's improving at the club. It's going downhill. Obviously, Run Nose come in the club at the time and tried to get me to stay, but it was offering me quite a bit of money to stay. But it wasn't money; it was your career. Do you know what I mean? It was you going out and wanting to play at the highest level you can.
Yeah, of course, and that's the sort of general consensus I've got from talking to like you guys, and like I say, I've spoken to Neil Smith, I spoke to Chris Hope, Vince Bartram. It's not really about the money at the level we were at. I suppose maybe it changed a little bit when you'd have probably got looked after a bit better when you went to City. But yeah, sort of Gills level, Brentford's level at the time, it wasn't about the money. It was about going somewhere, I suppose, where you was appreciated and you thought, I'm probably going to play 8-9 times out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of them where you've got someone to believe in you as a manager or as a coach, or players believe in you. That you're halfway there, and that's what happened to me there. I had a lot of negative things thrown at me during games, supporters shouting abuse at me during the games, and it does get you down a bit because you want to come there and play for the club and play for the supporters, and that's what it's all about. And they pay their money to come and watch you. I wasn't delivering, but my confidence was shot because I wasn't fit, and they just some of them made it worse for me. And in the end, you've got to have big, strong shoulders and say, yeah, you can do this. You are a good footballer. You can prove them wrong. Tony Pierce was saying at the paper, the players were saying at the papers that I can do it. You wait and see when he's fit. And luckily, I got myself fit and started scoring the goals for the football club.
Yeah, I think I did a bit of, obviously we'll get on to the later part of your spell with us, but I think I did a little bit of research and it said that you scored, I think it was you got something like it took 8 games and you had like 1 goal, and I think you scored about 14 in your last 8 games before leaving. So that was obviously, it's a good reflection of the fact that once you got yourself fit and up and running and playing regular games, well, that sort of spell now, if people like Ronaldo and Messi are doing that, that's all over Sky Sports all the time. It's like a phenomenal rate, and you were doing it probably 20 years ahead of your time, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that's what you play for, is just to, if you're a striker, to score goals. You're the goalkeeper to keep a clean sheet. You're a back four to keep a clean sheet. Midfielders to try and keep the clean sheets, plus get 10 goals a season. Yeah, and that's what you're paid to do as such. But the lads there at the time, the squad we had there at the time, was so close. You can't even describe it to people how close we were.
That's been the general thing that I've heard amongst the people we've already spoke to. So the group of players were so tightly knit that they'd run through brick walls for each other. And that's after battle.
Yeah, and we got on so well, and we couldn't wait to come in training and up and meet each other. Meet up and train together. And the camaraderie was superb. And it was like we had people who dig in and fight. We had people who could play. And people hated playing against us because they just said we were bullies all the time. There's
always a joke, I think, amongst this, because I spoke to Guy Butters a few years ago before I started the channel. It was just when I was doing like written pieces, and obviously there's always the joke about they were the eggers and you and Saabs were was it the cream or something like that?
Yeah, the cream. Yeah, I mean, we used to come in. Me and Carl used to come in the mornings. I think it was 10 o'clock. And we'd go and do some finishing with Tony on the pitch with Vince in goal.
Yeah.
And poor old Vince, bless him, he'd come in at sort of like 9:30, 10 o'clock start, and the boys would come in for 11 to start at 11. Me and Carl would finish at 11 and go home.
That's what Guy said. You two were gone, and then they'd have to go and run around the pitch about 100 times or something, and do shape work for the rest of the day.
Yeah, and they'd come and do shape work, and Vince had to stay behind for all that. So bless him, he was sort of like there at 9:30 in the morning. He'll be there to about 3 or 4 in the afternoon. Do you know what I mean? And
I've come in and shot a load of goals at him and gone home after an hour.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'll be home at 11:30.
Very nice.
But that was the sort of like the banter in the dressing room was superb, and that between us all. But the boys knew that they knew. Just Tony was straight across the line saying, "This is how it's going to happen. This is what's going to happen." We'd all come. It went every day. We'd do that.
Yeah, of course.
But the odd times you say, "Come on, let's go on the pitch. Let's do some finishing tomorrow morning," and then I'll get the other boys in. at 11, and we'll work on them. And we've done things constructive, and that, he wouldn't have got where he was in the Premiership as a coach or a manager. What he's done, he's good at what he does, and he gets the boys playing for him. But it's just, we used to go out on a Saturday afternoon and believe that we could beat anybody.
Yeah.
And that was the closest of the team. We knew, like, we can't against a Man City at Wembley. We were the underdogs at the time, but we thought we'd go out there and win the game. Which we
very nearly did.
Very nearly did, and we were way underdogs.
Yeah,
they were favourites, and they were saying 4 or 5-0 this is going to be. But we turned up. We knew if we stuck together as a team, we would put them under pressure and win the game, and we nearly did. We weren't talking.
We'll stop there. Let's go back. We'll go back a bit, obviously. And you talk about the big teams that we'd go up against them and be underdogs, but we'd always give them a game. There was one game against Fulham.
Yeah.
I think, and I don't know if you was aware at the time of the year before, there'd been loads of crowd trouble after the game, and unfortunately a Fulham fan had been killed. So there was extra policing, extra stewards that night. But I remember being in the Rainham end, and you rose somewhat like a salmon in the last minute from a John Hodge cross, and the whole place went absolutely ballistic, didn't it? Was that up there with one of your favourite Gills goals in terms of importance? I mean, it was a free header, in fairness. I don't think they picked you up very well looking back at the highlights, but in terms of sheer emotion and the moment, and because it was the last minute in front of the Rainham end, but that's one of my favourite goals that you scored for us.
I think it was one of the best minutes of my career, because what side they had out, they had a hell of a side.
Yeah.
And they were spending a lot of money to get out of that division, and look at their Coleman centre half. They had I can't remember the other centre half. They had who the ball just come over the top of him, and I headed it in. I don't know his name, but I don't know, it's Trollope his name or something like that, other centre half.
Paul Trollope that played there. They also brought in the lad from Newcastle, didn't they? Philippe Albert, the Belgium international. Because Neil Smith, who I spoke to last week, he went there.
Yeah.
In '97, and then he joined. He said about 2 weeks before it got announced that Fired had taken over, and he was thinking, "Christ, I'm never going to play." And they was bringing in like them two, Peter Beardsley, Paul Bracewell, Rufus Brevett. And he was thinking, "I'm never going to play a game," but he ended up playing, and he got promoted with them. So he might have been in the side for them that day. But yeah, they brought in a ridiculous amount of players.
They did, and Bruss could turn around and beat them 1-0 on that, because they were flying top of the league, went flying along. And for us to beat him was a great feeling, and it was a full house, and just the passion in the fans that night when we won the game. It was just a relief for everybody, because games like that are tense anyway. And you said about Fulham's and that, the big clubs and that, we stood up to clubs like that and got results. But it was just such a surreal night that we won at that time, because it was a good time to score the goal, because the last minute of the game sort of thing.
Yeah, there was no way back for them.
No way back, and everyone knew we'd won the game then. So it's a great night for the club.
Right, the next one I've got down was a league trophy game away at Torquay. Probably technically in that sort of first few months of the game, probably one of your best goals was got the ball out your feet and whipped it right-footed into the far top corner.
Yeah.
And then we ended up, I think we lost to Millwall in the area final, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one I enjoyed as well, that one away at Torquay. I weren't there, but I just remember seeing it afterwards on the news then, because this was before Twitter and everything. So you had to wait till the next day to see the highlights.
Yeah. Neville Southall was in goal, funny enough, for Torquay.
Is that who it was?
Yeah, Neville Southall's in goal, yeah.
I'll have to watch it back. I didn't notice that when I looked at it the other day.
I'm sure he was in goal. I'm sure Big Nev was in goal.
It's mad when you look back through all these videos now and you see people at that time that had come out of the Premier League and were at the back end of their career. Because I think Ian Rush played for Wrexham at our place just after you joined as well. Yeah.
And it's just. I just remember Carl flicking it inside to me, and I won't say it was handball or nothing. It bounced up and hit my knuckles on my hand. Hit my knuckles. VAR. And he was off his line. I think he was like penalty spot. So I thought if I hit it high and bend it round, and that, hopefully it'll go in, and it did. And I think that was late on as well. I think. Not too sure.
It was late, but it weren't as late as the Fulham one. But I think it was. No. It was sort of last 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, and that's a. I think Torquay they were doing quite well in the league, and I don't think we do well. I don't think we did well at Torquay. It's a funny old place to go and play down there, but we managed to get the result, and also, like you say, we've got beat by Millwall.
Yeah, otherwise it could have been Wembley twice in the same season.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Then we fast forward a little bit further that season. I've sort of done it season by season and picked out sort of my favourite goal. So, February 1999, we have to talk about that game at Turf Moor.
What year? What was that? What was that happening that then? Happening that?
No, you got a few, didn't you? 5. 4 by half time. 5 after an hour, wasn't it? And then I think, did he take you off? Did Tony take you off, or?
After about 70 minutes, 75 minutes, took me off.
Yeah, because Vinny was saying the other day that it happened in the playoff final as well, and it ended up catching us out because obviously he took you and Saabs off, and he said, but he'd done it that day at Burnley.
Yeah.
And basically gone 6 at the back and was screaming and bellowing from the touchline, clean sheet, clean sheet, clean sheet. And you lot were all looking around thinking, Christ, Tony, we're 5-0 up after an hour and you're still digging us out. But that was Tony all over, though, wasn't it? And like you say, that's probably why he went to manage in the Premier League. But what do you remember of the day? Was there anything in the build-up where you thought, I fancy this today, or was it just one of them where everything you hit just went in?
Well, the last time I went to Burnley, as a player, the manager threw, I think it was the old pots of tea you used to get. Yeah. Big old spouts on the old silver drums they used to have. I remember the manager picking it up and throwing the tea all over us in the dressing room. That's the last time I remember being at Burnley before that day. And that's all I thought about. God, I hope I don't get a tea thrown over me again.
So it's got to be better than that day.
Surely. It's got to be better than that. So went out to warm up. It was a funny day. Sometimes you go out on the pitch and think, oh God, I don't want to be here sometimes. Do you know what I mean? So I don't fancy playing today. And a lot of players do go through that. And but we sort of it seemed like it was a sort of cold day, and it was like it just felt weird the day. I don't know why it is. It just felt weird the day, and then we kicked off, and we because Burnley were doing quite well, and they had quite a good side as well, on paper, and managed by Stan, who's a good coach himself, good manager himself, and had some boys in there who want to mix it up, and we thought, God, it's going to be a hell of a game today. If we come over a point, we'll be happy. Yeah. Then obviously we went one up, and and just in the team, it doesn't matter what team or whatever you play. If you go 1-0 up, it just relaxes everybody, because then the other team's got to come chasing to try and get back in the game. That opens up the game, which it did. Yeah. And I managed to get the second one. And
I don't suppose you imagined it ever opening it up quite like that, did you?
I don't really know. And and obviously the third and the fourth before half time, it was like game over, really. Do you know what I mean? And the boys coming at half time, we were buzzing, just saying that Pulis was going off on one and saying, you got to get tight. You don't get tight, we'll get beat today. We go look around at each other going, get beat? We're 4-0 up. He's like saying, don't you let a goal in. We're going to keep a clean sheet. Yeah, win the game 4-0. We're going to win the game 4-0, and that's it. He said, don't let them back in it. If they get a goal, they might catch us. He's going like this to us. And we're all sitting around going, they're not ever going to catch us at 4-0. Never, ever. And not the way we were together. And it's just that day, we knew we were invincible that day. It don't matter. Second half, they put us under a lot of pressure. But because we had such a good togetherness, the back five, you want to call it back five, or back, 3 centre halves and 2 full backs. Yeah. Dug in the midfield, working hard for them as we're in front. And we knew they weren't going to get through us. Vince was having a good season in goal. He saved 2 or 3, I think, second half. But that was all they had in the whole game. And then Nicky took the corner and I headed it, and it was game over. And I was a bit disappointed that Tony took me off, because I might have been able to get another one, because they were
pushing double hat-trick, weren't you? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, they were pushing forward and leaving gaps at the back and that kind of stuff. So we thought we'll get in more, but obviously he changed it around and took a couple of us off, and obviously it finished 5-0 in the end. But it was a surreal day. It's still today. At the end of the day, the most important thing was the 3 points. Doesn't matter if you win 10-0.
Of course, it's still 3 points.
Still 3 points, but and the boys knew what I was like as a person. I'm a team player and always have been. And it was like, down to you lads. Because Mark Patterson got brought down for the penalty.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Nicky Southall picked me out for the cross. Done a routine corner, and obviously I think Nicky Southall scuffed it across the 6-yard box, and I scored from it. Barry actually put a long ball over the top and went through and scored. Carlos Alba flicked around the corner and I shot and I scored. So you've had it.
Didn't their centre half helped you out with one of them as well, didn't he? Because he looked like he got there in front of you, and I think he tried to header it back to his keeper and got nothing on it, and then you managed to knock him out of the way.
Give him a little nudge as he went to header it, so put him off.
But it weren't a foul.
No, it wasn't a foul. Never a foul. Just a little touch on him. Because wherever the ball comes from the opposite side of the pitch, you see, the referee will be looking at a different angle.
Yeah.
You run after the ball and he's got the back to you. He can't see that hand out in front of me, you see. So I give him a little nudge. And he went and headed it back at the same time as I nudged him, and he put him off and he just left it short. But it's people are there to assist you. If they weren't there on the pitch to assist me, I might not have got the goals that I got.
Yeah, exactly. Of course. No, like you say, and it was. I think that squad and the one that then Peter took over on the year after and tweaked a little bit. That again, you played a massive part in before you left, was probably built 90% on work rate and togetherness, and maybe 10-20% of technical quality as well. That's probably doing you all a disservice, but you know what I mean. It was the first thing about that side was you'd run all day for each other and dig in and do all the ugly stuff that you don't get talked about maybe at a higher level, but then you had good players like yourself and Saab, like you say, Nicky Southwood. There's plenty of them that were really good footballers as well.
Yeah.
What was it like afterwards? Because I've got like newspaper cuttings upstairs. I think like all the national tabloids were at the ground the day after, and you had to go in and do interviews and stuff like that. I suppose that was a bit mad and all, wasn't it? Because no disrespect, we're only League One, Gillingham, and it's not sort of attention that we get every day of the week.
I mean, it was. I mean, I had phone calls from about 5:30 onwards that night.
So literally straight after the game, as soon as you got changed.
Yeah, there was phone calls going into people for me to speak to them on the phone, into the gaffer to speak to them on the phone, and can they speak to you tomorrow? Can they come and see you tomorrow? I had about 4 or 5 different TV and radio people turn up on a Sunday morning at 9 o'clock to my house. Right. Sky Sports was round at 9 o'clock in the morning, knocking on the door to speak to me. Yeah. And it's like, oh my, what's going on here sort of thing. Hold on, and just eat my breakfast. Can I finish it off sort of thing?
Yeah, exactly.
And they come in and sat down. We had a chat about everything. Yeah, so it was a bit like, hold on a minute, I've just done it yesterday and it's all everything's coming too fast. Give me time to think about what the club have done as scoring 5 goals away from home sort of thing, and what I've achieved as well, what the team's achieved. And it's like, give us time to process it. But, obviously it was fresh in my mind what happened, but it was still surreal and didn't really think I'd done that, if you know what I mean.
Of course, and I suppose it's one of them moments, Bob, where you appreciate it later on when you have stopped playing, because you can sit down, like you say, and look back on it properly. Whereas at the time, I suppose you was thinking back into training Monday and start thinking about the next one.
Yeah, that's right. That's all you can do. I mean, at the end of the day, we won the game, got 3 points. That's what was needed, and that's all we were worried about, And that was on the Monday morning. That gone. You don't worry about that anymore.
That's it. It means nothing then, does it? Like you say, it's 3 points. It's 3 points. Whether you'd won 1-0, like you say, or 10-0, it didn't really matter. So, I mean, obviously the goal difference can make a difference at the end of the season, but at the time, we were just thinking, right, let's get the game won and out of the way.
Yeah.
I'm right in thinking the weekend after was Preston at home. That was another big game, because we always seem to have battles with Preston. It didn't matter what division we were in. I think when Tony first took over, it was us and them in what's now League Two, battled out for the title, and then you boys had some really good battles with them over the 2 seasons, didn't you? I remember that game. If I remember rightly, we weren't very good that day at home to Preston, but I still think we created loads of chances. I think their keeper was David Lucas.
Yeah.
And I think he saved everything. And then right near the end, I think we were 1-0 down. The ball got swung in from our left.
Yeah.
And you just peeled off the centre half and managed to head it back across David Lucas into the top corner. Really good goal. And again, another massive point, I suppose, because they were up there battling with us.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you do. The thing that I can say about the team we had is that we never defeated. Do you know what I mean? Like you say, we were 1-0 down, and with a couple of minutes to go, wherever it was, and I think Hodgie cut back and whipped it in, and I could peel it off fast stick. Lucky it come fast stick. See, another assist. You're there to put it in the back of that's your job, and I managed to head it back across the goal, which you've been taught as a young kid. Always head it back where it come from. And just managed to just guide over the top of him because he was coming across. And if I'd have gone near post, he'd have saved it. So his momentum was coming that way, so I went back the other way with it. And it dropped in the far corner. But you see, they're precious as a precious point for us, At the time, they're up there with us, like you say, and they've always been a strong side. And we'd have good games against them. Physical side, and we have good games against them.
Yeah, I always remember the battles predominantly between Hesse and Sean Gregan in the middle of the park. But yeah, they had plenty of others. I think it was lad Rankin. I think played for at the time. Mark Rankin was a good player. They had other ones. Who was the lad up front that went on to play? Was it John?
John Macken.
John Macken, who went on to play for Sheffield Wednesday in the Premier League. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, they was always good. And David Lucas, I think, was an England under-21 keeper at the time. So some really good battles. But after that one, I think I'm correct. I have to go off Wikipedia and other websites. I don't trust everything implicitly that Wikipedia says, but there's another one that I use. But I think you went 9 without a goal after that, after getting 6 in a week.
I can't remember. I don't remember.
No, I didn't remember. I haven't done this off the top of my head. I have to research this.
Yeah.
So the next goal after your drought, I suppose it was a drought then at the time because you were scoring quite freely, was that volley at home to Stoke. Ball got touched off outside of the right foot, dipping volley in front of the Old Town in, straight in the corner. That was another super finish. I
think Hesse, flicked on, or double pass it to me in the air or something, I think
you had one touch on your knee or your chest and then just hit it straight away,
just come on my foot and I flicked up the inside of my foot and then volleyed it. I've obviously seen the goals that someone's put on Facebook and that, and I saw the goals there the other day, funny enough.
Gills have tweeted him out the last few days,
so I've seen the goals again, so it's refreshing my mind a little bit. I just remember flicking it up and just having a go, really. You just take things for a chance if you end up in Rose Ed somewhere, but it dipped into the corner and
there wasn't much that was going Rose Ed for you at that time, to be fair.
I mean, all my career sort of thing leading up to sort of like moves to Man City and we won't talk about Wolves too much because that was just a disaster up there for me, injury wise and being diagnosed with the wrong things all the time up there, and I fell out of the club over it all. I'll talk about it in a minute or so, but it's not what they've said in papers about all this. I'll talk about it later on. But I'll let you
before about it because you had problems with your calves, wasn't it? You had
I had a problem with calves. It took them. I was playing with cramp during games. They were making me play. They were making me play to start games. And they just said there's nothing wrong with me. And after about 20 minutes, my calves would come up all black. Both of them would be black with bruising. Because my calves were shutting all the blood off behind my knees, so I won't get no blood to the lower level of my legs. So I'll go out there and try and play, and they'll say, "No, you're all right. Nothing wrong with you." Physio go, "Nothing wrong with you. Go out there and play."
Even though you're physically showing them that the backs of your legs are going funny colour.
Yeah, and in 20 minutes in the game, they cramp up, and you know what cramps like? Everyone gets cramp. That's painful.
It ain't fun at all.
I was trying to run around with it. Trying to run around 20 minutes, and then they start singing, "What a waste of money," and all this kind of rubbish. And in the end, I come in and said, "This is no good. I need to see someone." They go, "No, there's no one to see. You're fine." And then they, I went and saw my own doctor, and he booked me in for an ultrasound scan done, and which you're not allowed to do. You're supposed to be the club doctor. Done an ultrasound scan and said, we need to release the pressure next. You're busting all the blood vessels in the back of your legs, so that's why the bruising's coming up. There's no oxygen down there because your calves rise and it's just busting all the blood vessels. That's why the bruising's coming out. That's why you're getting cramp. So anyway, he sent me to see a surgeon, and then he turned around and said, "Well, we need to operate on you straight away because your blood flow in your body's not going around your body properly. So if anything's affecting it, it could ruin the blood flow around your body, and you could have a heart attack."
It could just not be. Oh, well, there you go. I was going to say, that's ridiculously serious.
Yeah. So it makes everything irregular, and I went, right, okay. So the next day I was in having the operation, and the club were up in arms about it. Why have you gone there for? Why have you gone there for? I said, it took 6 months of me trying to play with these calf muscles. I said, and then I've had to go and sort myself out. So I haven't bothered.
But you're not taking any notice of me at all?
No, not taking no notice of what I'm saying. So I've got scars on the backs on both of my legs now from that. And I tried to come back, and I tore my Achilles because obviously that was all to do with the blood flow. And it's like if you haven't got oil in the car, that'll blow up. Exactly the same. Your body needs oil. You need blood in your body to get keep going. And so I had them done in 6 weeks. I was back playing. And then I had to have my gallbladder removed as well. Had an operation on that. Yeah. And then I've done my Achilles when I come back playing because obviously that affected that. So I was out 8 months with that. And then I come back from that. And then I've tore my hamstring.
So it was just literally one thing after the other.
Yeah, so it's all to do with the blood flow, the surgeon told me. And then he wrote a letter. Yeah, so I had 2.5 years left at Wolves and my contract, and I rang up Jez Moxey one day and said, I ain't coming back. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, look, I haven't been looked after. I said, my gallbladder, I was told to go away on holiday for 2 weeks because it was just stress, you know. And that took him 9 months to sort my gallbladder out. 9 months.
Jesus. And these are medical professionals, apparently.
Yeah. And I was coming in, I was getting my local doctor at 3 a.m. to give me a morphine injection to kill the pain.
Bloody hell.
The sweat would be pouring off me. And then I said, I can't come in today because I'm not feeling very well. They said, get your ass in now. So I'd get in the car and drive in. I'll get in. They go, God, you look awful. Go home.
Well, yeah, that's what I've been trying to tell
you. Yeah. And that's what it's been like at Wolves all the time. Them not doing it, like helping you out. And then the manager wouldn't speak to me. When Dave Jones would go, he wouldn't talk to me at all. You know, Jez Moxey wouldn't talk to me. So I thought to myself, I'm not playing anymore. I'm finishing. So I quit. Phoned him up and said, I ain't coming back.
So he just tore your contract up, basically.
Yeah, he sorted out a payment of what's left on my contract, and I said, I'm not coming back. He goes, what do you mean you're not coming back? I said, well, you've treated me badly, and I could go to the press of all this, right? Now, I asked for medical records, and they went missing.
Says all you need to know, then, I suppose. We'll leave it at that, shall we?
So that was my life at Wolves, and I had people threatening to kill me when I was there and that kind of thing.
Honest, I just don't understand it. I mean, as fans, we all get frustrated with players' performances and our team's performances, but it's like we said earlier, it's about people have got to know where the line is at the end of the day. And I know not so much at our level, but like obviously not Premier League people, because he's got money, he should be fine. But everyone's still human, everyone's still got emotion, and everyone still feels stress and depression or whatever it is. And that's staggering, to be quite honest. That for a club of that size, even when they was. Because they was in the Championship then?
Yeah. I was walking around the ground after one of the games, watching it, and I walked around the ground about 5 minutes to go, and these 5 lads come out one of the gates and say, "Oh, there's that W there." He said, "You're a waste of money. Next time we see you, we're gonna kill you." And I've got my little daughter with me, you know, walking around the ground with me. And they don't know nothing what went on. And I spoke to another player the other day. Who used to play for Wolves, and he got treated exactly the same there. And he left a little while before me, but he got treated the same there, and that with the fans and a lot of them have. Andy Sinton was the same. You know, he got treated the same there. He was injured with me, and we were both going to the gym at like 10 in the morning without seeing a physio, getting any treatment. We go to the gym at the club. Well, there's a tennis club they used to train at. And so we used to go in the gym at the training ground at the tennis club.
Yeah.
Do training for an hour. Me and him used to do some weights and that kind of thing together, and then we'd go home. So we'd be home on at 11, and no one asked a thing. This went on for about 10 months. This did.
No one wants to know where you are, what you're doing.
Didn't get no fitness. No treatment with physio, nothing. No one would see us or nothing. Both of us. No one saw us. And then I never went.
Absolutely staggering.
Never went to a game and didn't even question anything. Didn't even question anything.
I suppose it tells you now how much, like you say, how much he was valued. Then, if without even having to ask anyone or tell anyone anything, you could see straight away that they didn't care what you were doing. So,
no, didn't give a monkeys. And
that is mental.
Andy's sitting done the same as me. Just didn't bother going to the games in the end because we just both lost all faith in the club completely. And there's a lot.
Andy Sinton had been an England international as well, hadn't he? You know. Saying, I'm not saying that he deserves to be treated better than you, because again, it comes back to the human aspect of things. But you're thinking, why are you getting these players in if you're just going to treat them like, bits of meat?
Yeah. Well, I wanted to take it. I wanted to take it further, but I got told I wouldn't beat them over the way I was treated. So that's what I was told. So I got told to shut up, basically. So they basically ruined my career as such. When I went there,
because was it you come back to us briefly? Was that from Wolves, or was that you'd left?
Yeah, that's when I just come back from calf muscles.
So you came to us for a little while, but then after that, you tore your contract up.
Yeah, a little while after that, yeah. I just ruined it.
That's mad. Anyway, we've digressed and gone off on.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's not a problem. It's an interesting listen. So, I would say we'll go to something more positive quickly, but.
You can do if you want.
The last goal of that 98-99 season was at Wembley.
Right, move on.
Yeah, quick, next season.
Yeah, next season.
I remember at the time, Saba got it into his feet, didn't he? Back-heeled you. And I thought, you had one touch out your feet, and I think you caught Nicky Weaver out near pipes because you went really early, didn't you?
Early, yeah.
At the time, I'm thinking, go on, drive in the box. And he took it straight away, and it flew under him. And I just remember our end going absolutely ballistic. And I suppose, like, you lot were thinking, we're there. We've done it. We've beaten Man City. There was a minute to go, and it was another good finish, and Saabs had scored a decent goal as well, and yeah, we were beating the mighty Manchester City. And then I asked Vinny the other day, and I said, have any of you sort of spoken about it since and worked out why it went wrong? And he said, nah, it just happened.
It's funny. It's just one of the things you couldn't believe would happen. You know, no one believed that would happen. But like for the goal and everything, I scored. Saab's got a good goal. It was a good move to the goal. The Smudger putting him in, and he scored with good old toe punt Saabs.
It was one, into the roof of the net.
But I flicked it on for my goal. Saabs controlled it, backheeled it. I said backheel it, backheeled it to me, and I was taking it on, and I just saw Nicky coming forward at his goal. So if I hit it early, he can't set himself.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't think he was on his near post either, was he? Slightly looking it back, because obviously keepers generally go to their near post, and from there, 9 times out of 10, you probably go across him.
Yeah. If you see in the way he come forward, is that he was coming forward and he weren't set. So if he sets himself, he's got a chance to go the other side.
Yeah.
If you see, he didn't get a chance to move anywhere.
The ball's going past him before he's even got his feet planted.
Before he tried to get his left foot to it, but he couldn't because he wasn't set. Otherwise, he'd have dived and taken his hands or his right side. So I took it early because he was still coming forward. I just saw him coming out of his goal, and I thought, hit it now. Near post, drive it low. And he ain't got time to adjust himself to get down to save it. And, and it's the day, funny enough, the day before that, we stayed in the hotel, and it was like 28 or 30 degrees on the day before, and I was like praying for it to be, because I hate playing in the heat, absolutely hate playing in hot weather, and I was praying for it to rain for the next day, because last time we played Crewe, it was like 29, 30 degrees, I think, when I was at Brentford and we got beat at Wembley. That was so hot, and so about 5 in the morning, there's thunderstorms going on. I'm going, yeah, it's great, waking me up. Just cheering at 5 in the morning. There's thunderstorms, and I just didn't want it to thunder and rain and gone the next day, and then it'd be hot again. When we woke up and had a pre-match, like a breakfast and pre-match meal and everything, and started going to Wembley in the bus and everything like that. And it was grey and misty and drizzling with rain. I was like, oh, brilliant! What nice day for a game of football.
Yeah, proper football weather. Yeah,
proper football weather, and I was just so chuffed. That was because it was boiling hot leading up to that day. And then, funny enough, the next day was boiling hot again. So, it was just a surreal day. Well, it was one of them days. Because after the game, obviously we won't say it, but after the penalties, we went off to a hotel, and it was really quiet. And then it was all subdued. Do you know what I mean? It was like you're still trying to think, did that just happen or not? We was on a train all the way back to Kent, and it was silence all the way. It was the weirdest sort of hour and a half ever. Yeah. Like the boys just went off in to see their families and that in the hotel, and just sat down with them and just couldn't believe what happened still, I think they showed next season we showed good strength, to bounce back from that.
Yeah, we started slowly again, didn't we? Really, but I mean that's understandable after it was a massive hangover from being that close to getting promoted and having to start all again. I suppose at the time it feels like the whole season's work's just gone down the pan, doesn't it? So
it does, and it's all that work you've done for 46 league games and the playoffs, as well, to get there, and it's a kick in the teeth for you, and you just think to yourself, that's all that season you just worked balls off basically for nothing. And it did take a long while to get going, but you think to yourself, here we go again, sort of thing. But then once you get that win in and that kind of thing, you think, all right, we're back in the groove now, and we've just kicked on from there, really. Obviously I left in October, but it wasn't. It was like the boys were flying anyway. At the end of the day, they had a good enough side there to get promoted, and they did.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I always say, like, you played a massive part of that, because if you take your goals out in that first part of the season, then we wouldn't have finished where we did. And chances are we'd have probably been outside the playoffs. But like you've said before, it's a team effort and everyone plays their part. And you was part of that for the first sort of 3 months of the season. But just back to that Wembley final quickly. I know I keep saying we'll avoid it, but did anyone get to Mark Halsey and try and speak to him after the game? Because I still can't work out where all that injury time came from.
No, we don't neither. It's funny. It's supposed to be only 30 seconds added for substitution in the game. I think there's only about 3, substitutions in the 90 minutes.
Yeah, so that's only Well, yeah, and even if they'd have to all be in the second half as well, wouldn't they? And then is it 30 seconds for a goal as well? So
yeah, it didn't even no injuries or nothing. No, I don't think a physio had to go on the pitch in the whole game. So for me, it should have been about 2 or 3 minutes added time. Not 7 minutes, I think it was, wasn't it, in the end?
Well, ridiculous, yeah. You might as well just put a board up that said wait till City equalise or something stupid like that, because that's how I felt it.
Yeah, well, I thought the sign was saying put the floodlights on about 8 o'clock. That's what I thought it said, the sign. Put the floodlights on, because that's when they'll score about 8. You know, it's only sort of like 5 to 5, or whatever it was. But it was just like, we were saying the referee has time, and he was going, 2 minutes to it and that, 2 minutes left. And then it went on for another 2 minutes, and then it was like, we're going, referee has time, it's time. And then Dickoff scored. Kevin Horlock scored.
Yeah.
Well, referee, where are you getting the time from, ref? Where are you getting the time from? And another 2 minutes later, they scored again.
And then there was all the rumours that he was pictured with their players after the game or something, which didn't help, I suppose, did it?
Well, he was during the game. He was calling, he was like being pally with them during the game, sort of thing. But you don't think of that. You just think it's there, and you weren't. He just kept saying, "Oh, player, do that again. I'll send you off. You get a yellow card for that." And and it's just been nice reply to them, thinking, Man City, I can't let them down.
So it almost feels like they're looking after the big team, yeah.
Well, it felt like, and for what was said after the game or what went on after the game in the hotels, whatever. Apparently, he was staying in the same hotel as they were. And he was drinking in the bar after the game. And
that's it. Yeah, that was the rumour that was going around.
Some of the Man City fans, players, wound me up and said he was in the hotel. But I think he was in the hotel. I don't know whether he was drinking or not, but he was in the hotel. So,
it doesn't look great from his point of view, but
no,
it's what it is now. And it's 20 years ago. Maybe I should let go.
Well, at the end of the day, at the time, there was a lot of heated emotion, weren't there, on the game and that kind of thing, and how it ended. It happened to Man United that week as well, didn't it? In the Champions League final.
I think because it was City thought they'd finally had their moment in the sun, and then 3 days later, United came from 1-0 down in the Champions League final, wasn't it? So
2-1.
So still in their shadow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it was a surreal day, and I'm just glad the club went up the following season. Showed enough balls, as we say, to push on and get promoted.
Yeah, let's talk about that season then. Right, I've got first one from that season. Flick header away at Stoke. Seems to be a repetitive nature of the teams that you like to score against.
Yeah.
That was at their place. I think it was a long throw or a corner, and I've just got in front of the centre half and guided it, and it seemed to be in the air for like about a week, and it just dropped in the far corner. I suppose that was probably the only thing you could try and do at that stage of the game, because there was nowhere else you could put it.
No, there's no. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's, like I say, it was late on again in the game, and we needed the result. I think, was it 1-1 in the end? Was it? Well, no, 1-0. 1-0, didn't we?
No, I think it was 1-0. I think we drew. I think it was an equaliser that day. Yeah.
It was an equaliser. And I just remember coming in, because it all depends on the flight of the ball, because it was quite a speedy throw in, so you can use the pace.
It was quite flat, wasn't it, rather than sort of a loopy one? Yeah.
Loopy one, I just probably help it on. But with it coming in quite quick, I use it as a cross sort of thing, so just try and guide a little bit higher up in the air and see whether it goes to the far post, if someone's going to come along, and if it doesn't go in, or someone can put it in the far stick. But I don't think there's anybody near it to get there anyway, put it in. But that was a crucial goal for us at the time.
Yeah, when you look back now and you look at the end of the season, and obviously we beat them in the playoffs. But I want to talk to you about free kicks, Bob, because there was a spell before you left where every free kick you were in pretty much went in. I mean, I know we look at the highlights and you say, I'm sure there were ones that you took that probably went over the stand and, nearer the corner flag or whatever at times. But there's one thing I always noticed about your free kicks. Am I fair to say that your technique was probably slightly different to the norm? Because I remember the one against Millwall, and you've almost had a straight run up at it.
Yeah, like it was like a gap. There was a gap there, and I think it was Tony Warner in goal at the time.
Yeah,
he was with Liverpool, didn't he?
Yes,
and he was down a bit far over, and we had someone on the edge of the wall there. I think blocking his thing. He was just going to bend, drop out the way, and I thought to myself, I'm going to hit this. I'm going to hit it straight as a die, and hard as I can. It was just off centre, so I can hit it across the wall a little bit, so unsighted. And he thought I was going to go over the wall, and I thought to myself, right, I'm going to hit it out the side of the wall as hard as I can and see if it can get near it. and that's what I did. And he didn't get anywhere near it.
No, he didn't get anywhere near it. To be fair, I think he'll get it. I think it was in before he'd even set himself properly. But,
yeah, he took a step. He took a step to the left as well, and couldn't get back in time to try and save it.
Then you hit one against. There was another one against Wrexham.
Mm-hmm.
But the best one for me is the one against Bristol City, and it had to be sod's law that it was Tony Pulis' first game back as an opposing manager, and I think you only come on after an hour.
I come on at half time.
Was it half time, or you had a hat trick by the hour? It might have been.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think because I saw Achilles and tendonitis in my Achilles, and they said if we need you, we'll bring you on. But and sort of thing. So I was on the bench, and I was talking to Tony Thorpe, who was on the bench as well for Bristol City.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the sideline, and we were just saying it's the worst game I've ever seen in my life, because I'm always like, you're always playing sort of thing, so you don't get to see it from the bench. And I'm thinking, God, if I was a supporter now, I'd be going home now, because this is terrible. Absolutely terrible. I don't think there's a shot in the game or anything, I don't think.
I don't remember, to be honest, I don't remember much about it apart from your 3 goals now. I think that's all that sticks in my mind.
Yeah, and Tony goes, I know, so I've come all this way here, he said, and I don't really want to go on tonight. Ivory was going. Anyway, I remember Steve Butler come jogging out, and he goes, Rob, get ready, you're going on. I go, oh, you're joking, I've got to go and play. I said, this is terrible. He said, I know, that's why the gaff wants to get you on the pitch. He said, are you all right? I said, yeah, I'll be all right, yeah, sort of thing. I said, it's the worst game ever. I was going, oh, no, it's Tony Ford, I've got to play now, And he goes, well, all the best playing that, he went. And then, obviously, I went on there and scored 3 goals. But it was like, for Tony coming back there, it was good to sort of like get one over on the old manager sort of thing,
there was a bit of stuff surrounding it, weren't there? Because obviously him and Mr. Scally fell out, and there was all the whole gross misconduct thing that we won't talk about. But so obviously there was sort of added spice in that respect, and I think even to this day he's only allowed in the ground as an opposing manager, which is the chairman's choice.
Yeah,
but it's that free kick in that game just sticks in my mind, because for all the world it should have been a left footer taking it, surely. And then you decided to whip it from outside to in and go across the keeper into the far corner, and I think it hit the side net, and I just stood there, and I think I was pretty much, I don't think I even celebrated, I think I was just like a bit open mouthed and was like, oh, it's gone in again. Another one.
I mean, it's like I say, you get a goal and it breeds confidence in you, but at the end of the day, if you don't try something, out the ordinary or whatever, like the keeper thought I was going to go around the wall again to the side it was in, so I thought I'd try and go across him and bend it the other side, and trying to, wrong foot him really, and but I didn't think that when I was looking at the video now of it, the other day, I didn't think it was that far out, but it was quite a way out, wasn't it?
It was. It looked 30 yards, I'd say.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that far out when I looked at it again. I thought, God, that's a long way out that way. How the hell did I reach the goal from there? I wouldn't be able to reach the goal from there now. And and it's just one of them times that you try things. If you don't try things, you don't know whether they're going to come off or not. And it did, and it was just it was a good night for the club again, getting the 3 points.
Well, yeah, and you talk about obviously when you're playing with high confidence that you try these things. That was, you scored that trick the home game previous, well, and you get Wrexham, so you was in the middle of the purplest of purple patches, I think it's fair to say. And I think I keep remembering watching the highlights, and every time you scored, every commentator was like, "Oh, there's another couple of 100,000 that City are going to have to put in." And I think the next one after that, I've got down here Bristol City best hat trick I've seen live, and that's not to blow smoke up your arse, but I've not seen a better hat trick. Like, first one I think was a half volley, went it from the edge of the 6-yard box into the roof of the net. Yeah. Second one, you was left hand side and whipped it far corner, and then obviously the free kick was defied logic for me, to be fair. Yeah. Next one was at Notts County.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that was. Them first 2 touches were half decent, to be fair. I was watching that one back the other day as well. I thought, God, that's got a touch of the Burkamps, that one.
Yeah, it was because Notts County were up there as well at the time, weren't they? Yeah. They were doing well, and
another draw. I think another 1-1, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think Smudger got it and crossed it into me, sort of thing, plastered it into me in the air. And I just remember taking the touch, and the centre half was going to come and nick it.
Yeah, and your second touch just sort of flicked it round.
Put it around the other side and ran round, the other side and scored. But I'd say that's probably one of the best goals I scored.
So I remember about the Bergkamp one. I was thinking, what was the Bergkamp one he scored against Newcastle?
He flicked it.
Was he done that? Was that before you, or did you do it before him? I can't remember.
I'm not too sure. I remember when he flicked it round and ran the other way and spun round for him, didn't it?
So maybe Arsenal fans should talk about that goal and say, "Cool, that was Bob Taylor-esque."
Yeah, I wish. Yeah, I'd say that's one of the best goals I've scored.
Yeah, I think technically it's right up there because the two touches, and you always say about good, and of course goals when you smash them in from 30 yards or they hit the bar and go in, they look spectacular. And it comes back to the thing again, it's still just one goal, isn't it? Whether you scuff it in from a yard or smash it in from the halfway line. But them first two touches had to be perfect, otherwise you don't get the chance to shoot.
No, when I saw that one the other day, I thought, I remember that one. That's one of the best ones I've scored.
Yeah,
I can remember that.
Very good.
Yeah.
And then we were live on the box shortly after that, and you got 2 against Bournemouth. And again, the price tag kept going up and up and up. And I think at that point, as Gills fans, we were starting to realise it was when Bob goes rather than if Bob goes, because City weren't going away. Unfortunately, it was every time you opened a newspaper or bought a local paper, it was, or CFAX and teletext as it was back then, it was Man City, make new bid for Gills Strike. And you just, I think at that point, I was thinking, let's just enjoy this for what it is, because it ain't going to last a lot longer. But yeah, you got 2 on the box, and that helped. That probably stuck another couple of $100,000 in our back pocket, so to speak. Yeah. I think one was a poacher's finish, wasn't it? From, I think, Roland Edge whipped in across.
Yeah, that was a header.
Bullet header, yeah.
Yeah, header. Yeah, I mean, it was like after that game, I had people ringing me up after the game that night and saying, there's about 14 or 15 clubs interested in buying me, And I was like, well, I'm enjoying my football, so I'm happy where I am at the moment.
Yeah.
I'd said that all along. I was happy. I remember putting the transfer request in because at the club, and I retracted it because a lady at Blackpool shouted to me, "Taylor, you've got no loyalty to the football club," to me off the terrace. And obviously, there's about 100 or 200 fans there, so you can see them.
You knew which one it was, yeah.
I knew which one it was. Shout at me, and I just put my thumb up to her. And I retracted it about 3 or 4 days later. But that's only because I was trying to sort something out about staying with the club.
Right.
They weren't coming forward with anything really for me to stay. And I wanted to stay, got a house and everything down there. And it was just didn't want to go anywhere. I wasn't ready to go anywhere. And I was enjoying my football, as everybody knew. But I had a phone call on a Sunday afternoon saying, I had a phone call from Joe Royal on the Sunday afternoon saying, "Hi Rob, it's Joe Royal." And "Hi Joe, how are you?" He goes, "I'm fine, thank you. Just want to say you're going to get a phone call from your chairman in a little while to say that we've put a bid in for you and it's been accepted by the football club. So I'd just like to say congratulations on your move. If you come up here and you want to move to Man City, I'll need you up here by tonight," he said, "and we'll be sitting down tomorrow morning and sorting your contract out, your deal out." I went, "Right, okay." He said, "But I just want to say it's been accepted by the club, our bid." I went, "Right, okay." Then Tim rang me up and said, "Our bid's been accepted by Man City, from Man City for £1.5 million. He said, "We've accepted it, so you're free to go and talk to him." He said to me, exact words. And then he done a press release for me to.
So there's no sort of, do you want to go or do you want to stay? It was,
no, really,
you're going up there basically.
Yeah, I sat down to sort things out with him and that a few times, but he said we can't give you anything else at the club at this moment in time. And I know Man City have been after me for about 8 months or so, and I knew there's other clubs like Spurs that come in, Hearts coming as well for me. Spurs did, yeah.
Blimey.
Yeah. David Pleat had put a call into my agent and saying
who was the manager there then? Would it have been
George Graham? I think.
Graham, yeah.
David Pleat was his director of football, I think, at the time.
Yeah, he might have been, yeah.
And he was on the phone to my agent saying we've put a bid in for £2 million for Rob. Can he come over and chat with us? He said we're now halfway up to Manchester. It doesn't work out. And I had Hearts on the phone as well. Obviously, Tony Pulis at Portsmouth at the time. He was at Portsmouth.
Right.
We had Leicester. There's other Premiership clubs that trying to get me to go there and everything like that as well. But I just see it as a bit, because they put a bid in for me and it's been accepted by the club. and other ones coming after that, I just sort of go, well, he's been after me for 8 months. I won't let him down as such.
Again, so you felt wanted, yeah.
Yeah, so he's been after me. He's the only club that's been suing me for that long. So I know they wanted me, and you felt wanted. So I drove up there to chat with them, and it took, I think, 2 days to sort the contract out with them.
Because this was the days before transfer windows as well, wasn't it? So you was free to move all through the season.
Yeah. It's the only transfer was the last Thursday in March, so you can move whenever you want to go.
But but there was no January or August transfer window back then, was it? So you was free to move as you please for basically 90% of the season. Yeah.
So that was it, and to take it all on board and try and pick, process it all from Sunday afternoon to be up at Manchester Sunday night, and then being there Monday morning, sort of the contract all happened too quick.
Yeah.
And I just felt like I was pushed into it a little bit.
Yeah, it's weird hearing you say that, because obviously from the outside looking in as a football fan, you think obviously Man City are a massive club, even though they were struggling compared to what they're doing now. Obviously they're trying to get out of the Championship, and they did. And I think, if I'm correct, you started pretty well up there. I think you had 5 in your first dozen games or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, when I first went up there, it was like a lot of. I went to this meeting the supporters in this place one night when I first went up there, and there's about 2,500 people in this hall, and they're throwing questions at me about the playoff final and things like that. And and I think there's a lot of animosity towards me a little bit. For me, you ruined our season, nearly ruined it all for us. Said that little bit against me. I nearly ruined their career, their football club, basically, for not getting into.
For doing your job.
Yeah, for doing my job. You scored the second goal, I'll never forgive you for that. You ruined our lives and all this kind of thing for 10 minutes and this kind of thing. I think, oh, right, okay. So you're sort of up against it straight away a little bit.
Yeah.
But I was sitting in the stand watching the Stockport game before I played my first game, and they were sort of the supporters going, oh, come on. They lost 1-0 or 2-1, I think, and they were awful that night. And they'd say, we need you up front. We need you to help us out. And the supporters are quite coming on. If they'd have been winning, they'd probably tell us, we don't need you now because we're winning games. But because they were
back down again,
yeah, they need you, So I started off, and it's just settling into the environment. You're playing in front of 33,000 people every week, every other week at home, and you're playing at some big clubs, and it's just like taking it all in. It's in a different way of playing. How the players play, and I've gone from being sort of like a target man as such to a player they play balls into, which they play off me. Do you know what I mean? And that kind of thing. Yeah. So you've got to try and adapt your game. So it took a little while to settle in, but Joe kept playing me because although I wasn't scoring a lot of goals, I was contributing a lot of assists during the games. And obviously Sean Goat finished off about 40 goals, I think, that season. And
sorry, I mean that when you first went there, though, you started off pretty well in terms of goals. Yeah. I think you played 12 games and scored 5 at the back end of that season after you'd left us.
Yeah. I was chipping in and everything like that. But what I liked about it was I was being picked, although I wasn't scoring goals as such. Leading up to the end of the season, sort of thing. I was being like the focal point of the team, and it shows sometimes when I didn't play, where the team had nowhere to go, nowhere to play to, and it just proved to me that they do need me after all. You know what I mean?
Of course, yeah.
Confidence, so you do fit in there, because at the time you don't fit in because they've all been together, they all know each other. Just like us at Gillingham, you've got a new player. It's like, oh, he's going to take our place. I don't want to take my place, and because they're all mates, you think they try and help you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so the one whose place you're taking's got the because you've nicked his spot in the team, and the others are thinking, oh, you've nicked our mate's place in the team. So It's almost like a double whammy, yeah.
Exactly. So it got a bit hard on that side of it, but Paul Dickov was fine at the time. He was sort of on the bench most weeks and that kind of thing. He couldn't get in. Sean was playing with me up front, and we had a sort of good partnership going, and obviously we got to where we got to, and got promoted in the end, and it was just unbelievable going from October playing for Gillingham and then playing for Man City and then get promoted to the Premiership. It's all just happened all at once, really quick.
Yeah, all in the space of 8 months or whatever,
yeah. So it was all flown by. So 2 years of my life, Gillingham, Man City, just playoff final at Wembley, and then getting bought by Man City and then getting promoted to Championship. It all just happened all at once in a year. Do you know what I mean? It was like so quick.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah. One question I wanted to ask you, Bob, before we let you go, because I've got down here, your final goal for us was at Scunthorpe, just to rewind a little bit. I think that was the night when the lights went out for about an hour and a half, wasn't it?
They did, yeah. It was, yeah. I remember. I think we were about 2 or 3 up by then. I think.
Yeah, we ended up winning 4-1. I know that because I think Nyron Noseworthy scored his first goal for us that night as well. Yeah. And then he done all right as well. He ended up in the Premier League with Watford and Sunderland, and I think he played for Sheffield United in the Championship. Had a good career as well, but he was only a kid back then. But
yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I remember the lights going out. We sitting in the dressing room and we're winning the game, and they were going, "Oh, we're going to call it off. We can't get them fixed." That kind of thing. We call the game off, and we just said, "No, we're going to sit here all night then until you get them fixed."
Yeah. I suppose if you was 1-0 down, you'd gone, "Yeah, no problem."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but you know,
if you was 1-0 down, they'd have got them fixed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they did get them fixed in the end, and I think we finished playing at about 11 o'clock. I think something like that. So we remember getting back late. I think we were back about 3 a.m. back to Gillingham, I think. And so I remember it because Tomo hit the post and come back out to me, and then
that's it,
and that's the last goal. Yeah, the last one.
Do you think if there'd been a transfer window back then, do you think you'd have ended up moving to Man City? Only on the premise of the fact that obviously you couldn't have moved when you moved.
Yeah.
We'd have been doing well into January. Maybe the chairman might have said, "No, we're not letting you go." And then obviously we'd have got promoted. And obviously there's a lot of ifs and buts and maybes in that question, but I thought I'd ask it nonetheless.
I think because I mean at the end of the day it's in a position that if we're in a position like we're getting close to where we're going to get promoted in the January windows, obviously stay.
Yeah.
You know,
that's what made me ask it. Yeah, because obviously October there's still a lot of football to be played, but I'm thinking if you got to like the end of January, Mr. Scally might have gone, "No, we're not letting him go. We've got 3 months here, a great chance of getting promoted."
Yeah. That's right. I'll just stayed all day long because you know it's one of them where it's when you want to play football at the highest level, but also you've got to enjoy your football.
Yeah, and it's fair to say you was enjoying it at that time, like I say, because that final 15 games you scored 18 times for us.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know that. But
yeah, he was doing all right.
But I was enjoying my football. I weren't like my head went elsewhere, so I weren't playing or not scoring goals, nothing like that. I was enjoying my football still, and I was enjoying being at the club. But it's one of them where if you say to yourself, "I was 28 years of age. Do I want to try and play high?" If I'd have been 23, 24, I'd have probably said, "No, I don't want to go anywhere else. I'll stay," sort of thing. But
as part of you, again, it comes back to being loyal, but you also have to look after yourself and think, will I get this chance to go to, a club like Man City again? Because for all you know, you could have not scored in the next 10 games and then City might have gone, "No, thanks."
Yeah. But it was like I wanted to stay at the club, but then when that phone call come through, they accepted the bid for me and that kind of thing. It was like, you see, what you don't know is what goes on behind you as a player. You don't know what's said behind your back, club to club or agent to club or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Of course,
goes on. So I don't know what's said, what's been done, whether there's been some money handed about or what. You don't know, do you? You don't know what's going on.
Of course.
So I just got a phone call to say they've accepted the bid and, off you plot, really. So.
And you did.
And I did. And it's one of them where it wasn't a happy signing for him. It was a weird feeling because I thought I'd let the go in. I thought I'd let the club down. Do you know what I mean? And I've let my mates down.
Yeah.
And going somewhere else, and because obviously being with them for sort of like 4.5 years at Brentford, and then another year and a half at Gillingham, it's like 6 years of friendship gone. Do you know what I mean?
Of course, yeah.
And it's like, you're letting the players down. They were telling me, you got to go, make it think. This is what I've been telling me all the time. The players can't turn that down. If I was in your shoes, I'd go. Do you know what I mean? And that kind of thing to me. I'm going, well, I'm enjoying the football. We want you to stay here, but obviously it's your
career at the end of the day. Yeah, it is your career. Yeah.
We'd jump at it. They said if it was our chance.
Yeah.
So the boys were like behind me 110% on it, but also they like me to stay obviously because we're winning games of football. And we were playing at the time, and it's like in football, you play for 16, 17 years, then your career's over.
That's it, yeah. So you have to take the chances when they come along, I suppose.
So it's like anything, you've got a chance of doing something, bettering yourself or whatever. you take that and you just got to turn around and say, "Oh, I regret doing that," but have no regrets by not doing it. So if I'd have said to Paul Skate, "No, I want to stay now," he'd probably said, "Well," he was going to say that anything like that, but he might have said, "Oh no, I want you to go anyway," sort of thing. Paul was okay with it all. He just said to me, "We've accepted the bid. It's good money for us as a club, and obviously it's a good move for you, and we've accepted the bid." He said, "Joe Rawls obviously been on the phone to you already, saying about it." He said, "So you're free to go and chat to him." And right. I said. I just put the phone down and thought, "Oh my God, what am I going to do?" Sort of thing.
Yeah, I've got a big decision to make now, and I've got to make it pretty quickly as well.
Yeah, and then you had 3 or 4 come in, 5, 6 telephone calls come in. Because obviously it went out on the radio and the press and that they put a bid in for it. It's been accepted, so everyone else knew about it.
So then suddenly, I suppose everyone's quick. Oh, we've got to get our bid in to see if we can, change his mind, so to speak.
Yeah. So, it was just all happened so quick that year and a half. All just happened so quick. It really did. Or 2 years, should I say? That happened so quick. Just everything did, and it's flown by. Everything flew by.
Did you go to the Wigan game at Wembley as a supporter? Can I ask, or did you watch it on the telly, or?
No, I couldn't get it. I watched it on TV, but I come down to the semi-final against Stoke at home. I watched that one.
Oh, that was the night when they had 2 sent off. Yeah, that was a fun evening. That one.
Yeah, and I went in the dressing room after the game and saw the boys and all that, and celebrated with them in the dressing room. So that was good because I felt still I was kicking every ball out there. The boys said, "You've got to come in the dressing room and say good luck to them before the game," and they went in after the game and champagne, all that kind of thing. And they
was
just
that
said,
the night where there was a couple of ex-players from the season before. Was Darren Carr there that night as well?
I think so, yeah. I think he was.
A couple of you come out on the pitch before the game, yeah.
Yeah. And then I think Hodgie was John Hodge. Was John Hodge?
It might have been Hodgie then.
Hodgie, because Hodgie left, didn't he? Hodgie went there then, was he?
Hodgie had gone the season, like when Pulis left, yeah, that summer after Man City, I think, yeah.
So I went in the dressing room after the game and said about the boys, and they said, "You're a big part of this. It went for you and be here now," sort of thing. So they
exactly.
So they were like, "You're a part of this. Your goals made us get here," and that kind of thing. So that was nice to hear from them. But because we've been mates for a long while, and I still speak to them now. So it's just shows how close you were. Because sometimes when you finish football, you lose contact with everybody because no one wants to know.
But that's what I said to you the other day on Instagram when I was trying to find out if anyone knew where Saabs was, because he seemed to have just disappeared off the face of the earth. And then he came up on someone else's Instagram story, been tagged in something, and I noticed the handle, and I thought, "Is that him?" And I had a look, and it was, and I dropped him a message, and hopefully we'll try and get him on as well. So
yeah, he likes to keep himself private now. Does.
It's fair enough, isn't it? Different time of his life now, so.
Yeah, that's it.
He moved on from that time 20 years ago, and we all remember it fondly, but we all have to go and do different things. And
yeah, that's
anyway,
right.
Bob, I'm going to let you go. So I've just noticed we've been talking for well over an hour.
Have we? Oh dear.
No, not oh dear. It's been a real pleasure reminiscing about a very good football side that, like you say, you was a massive part of, and some really good goals that you scored for us. And like I say at the beginning, I appreciate you taking an hour out of your life to come and have a chat. So thank you very much.
No worries. All right. Cheers, Matt.
No worries. Right, Gills fans, you know where we are on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter and Facebook. Bob is on Instagram and Twitter if you want to go and send him a message and chat to him about hat-tricks, goals, nearly going to Tottenham as well, apparently. And until next time, up the Gills.